The last thing you want to do is have someone in the service side at 2, 3 in the morning when there's a storm and you have a problem to have to go out and be trying to tie things in at multiple sites.
Can you tell me a little bit how you guys integrate maybe some customer feedback into your design and kind of how you guys have innovated over the years to your products?
Yeah, we work through distribution for all of our projects, so making sure we're getting those people connected because, product is product at the end of the day. I think where that real differentiator is for the customer is having someone that they can call, 24/7.
So if someone's got an existing generator, and they've never fired it up, or they're like, what is a typical maintenance plan like that?
What we have behind us here is one of our KD units, and that ranges from power node 700 kW up to 4 megawatt, which is the industry's largest unit.
All right, everyone, thanks for coming on today. I've got Ross here with Rehlko, and we're going to talk everything generators.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, so a lot of communities don't have backup power, and then they wait till they have a problem and they got to bring a portable generator on. How important is it that backup generator to them?
Yeah, we see a lot of customers in the field, especially in water applications, where they may have one piece of mobile equipment on wheels, where they have to drag that to multiple sites, or having cam-blocked ATS connection boxes. And where we're seeing a little bit of a transition is, especially with smaller lift stations, predominantly 80 kW and below, we're seeing a big transition to more stationary products, allowing, because the last thing you want to do is have someone in the service side at 2, 3 in the morning when there's a storm and you have a problem to have to go out and be trying to tie things in at multiple sites. So we've been seeing a big push that way, and I think that's where we can come in and give flexible options, gas versus diesel conversations, and just make sure the right products go into the right application.
So talking about picking the application, when they're coming in and that's the problem they had, talking about the different options and fuel sources and the approach, kind of how do you guys look at that?
Yeah, first and foremost, I always like to understand what is the load schedule? What is the physical loads that we're going to be backing up when we do lose utility? In some instances, natural gas and LP vapor products can handle those loads sufficiently, and we don't have to worry about maintaining diesel fuel. I know that can sometimes be a thing folks are worried about, or end users are worried about.
Meaning like actually storing extra fuel on site,
having reliable fuel, water ingress, algae growth. Those are just problems that sometimes you can have if you're not polishing fuel regularly or consuming it. And so that's something that we see. But on the larger projects where we have large horsepower motors, low voltage, medium voltage, when we start getting into that 1 megawatt and above, then we're traditionally going to be leaning into the diesel just because of the inherent inrush and being able to start those larger loads.
One of the things I want to ask was, if someone's got an existing generator and they've never fired it up, or they're like, what is a typical maintenance plan like that? Because I've come to sites, if you ever lost power, oh no, I've worked here 5 years, it's never happened. Is that going to be a problem?
Sure. I think one of the things I'm usually a little involved on the more front end pre-design up until award. But yeah, absolutely. We always want to be having those conversations too. Having a service contract, a service salesperson. We work through distribution for all of our projects. So making sure we're getting those people connected because, product is product at the end of the day. I think where that real differentiator is for the customer is having someone that they can call 24/7, 365 when you actually are going to have that problem.
When you're going to have it.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So we have teams like that, that dispatch and everything that we see with the hurricane situations that are going on. They're well versed in that, and that's where we really rely on them as a trusted partner to back that up when we need it.
Can you tell me a little bit how you guys integrate maybe some customer feedback into your design and kind of how you guys have innovated over the years to your products?
Yeah. One story that I always like to say, just from a kind of innovating or continuing to pivot and move forward, was we were doing some switchgear projects for some customers in Texas, and it was a parallel project. There was witness testing required on that. And what we were able to do was actually bring them up to the factory, the customer, the engineer, the trades and folks from the general contractor and electrical contractor that were all involved. And then we're all there hands-on with the gear, going through a full sequence of operations, all the failure mode testing that was occurring. And of course, you're learning things while you're sitting there going through that full week-long test. And hey, we meant or intended this, or can you change this? And So we're sitting there right with the automation switchgear engineers at the factory and making those changes on the fly as we're working through that week. So that's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
You guys stay so nimble like that.
So we have a great team on our switchgear side that, is there supporting that. I mean, I think even with our last witness test we had, I think 21 plus folks from Kohler alone are involved just to be able to support that 1 week long test. And we're talking multiple weeks of setup prior to that. So I wouldn't recommend doing that for every single project, but when you have these large mission critical, large facilities, they demand that, and we're able to help support that.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about some of your different product lines and stuff that you guys sell?
Yeah, absolutely. For me and Kohler Energy, which is now Rehlko, we primarily focus on natural gas and LP vapor gas products. And then on what we have behind us here is one of our KD units, and that ranges from power node 700 kW up to 4 megawatt, which is the industry's largest unit. And we also have 50C rated radiator package, cooling packages, crankshaft driven at that 4 megawatt as well. So when I lived in Dallas for 5 years or working projects in Phoenix, you definitely need that larger cooling package to be able to handle those ambient conditions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was quick. That was like a quick little summary. Cool. Anything else kind of like about, like, and it may be an interesting story you guys have recently come in and made a big impact on lately?
I think, yeah, let me think about
that you could share. Sometimes you don't want to like talk about exact clients.
I would say Kohler on a bigger, and Rehlko on a bigger floor. I'm part of our energy division generator side, but we have a multitude of companies that fall under the Rehlko power and brand. And so we have a sister company in Clark Energy that's doing a lot of the CHP, and they're even here at WEFTEC this week doing a lot of that flare gas and biogas and other applications where we're seeing prime power be a requirement for facilities. And they may be using that power at their own site or pushing it back to the grid. And then outside of that, we're working on other alternative solutions. These diesel KD units and all of Kohler's offering, they can run on hydrotreated vegetable oil or HBO. So there's a lot of cool things where I don't think the diesel engine's really going anywhere, but we're coming up with innovative ways to clean up our overall emission footprint as well.
Yeah.
Those are some of the things we're doing. And then one of the most latest ones is a hydrogen fuel cell development. We're doing some of those. So there's certain teams at the factory. I think that's some of the cool.
You guys are really big in the R&D, R&D product development, like that's something you guys hold.
Trying to innovate. What can we do better? What does the application warrant, and what do our customers need? To provide reliable power. That's what we focus on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Ross, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having me today.
Yeah.